Hi, a very good day to One Zawiya. My name is Manisha Ravi, metric number D53575, representative from Group 2. So today I will touch a topic on G.A.P, which is Good Agriculture Practice. So for the content, mainly for G.A.P topics, I will go through three subtopics which are Introduction of G.A.P on crop commodities, result and discussion, and lastly conclusion. First thing first, agriculture can be a primary factor to sustainable development in the perspective of constantly changing in the food economy and globalization. GAP is a method that improvising farmer production's environmental, financial and others, resulting in healthy and high quality food and non-food agriculture. GAP also provided quality standardization of agriculture commodities to ensure that the safety of the food for consumers to consume. These guidelines were established to enable growers or farmers to learn more about what it takes to have a food safety management plan. So next, GAP is developed by both government sides and the non-government. So if the GAP is well practiced among the farmers, they will obtain a large scales of crop management, thus it will increase the economic production. For the result, this is a table of ARC, CO and PLC payment by crop in 2014 to 2016. For example, we can see corn, wheat, soybean, oats, lentils, sesame and others as a crop. So through this table, we can see that in the year of 2015, they have the highest payment, $5,894 compared to the other years. Meanwhile, the lowest is in the year of 2014, which is $774. Conclusion: for decades, supply control were prevalent, but they faded after the 80s and were replaced in 90s by fixed direct income payment support. In 2014 Farm Bills gave farmers a one-time chance to update their crop-based acres. Third, eligible producers were given a one-time choice between ARC and PLC for the duration of the Farm Bill. And in 2014, the total payment for per person is $125,000. So besides that, agriculture community programs have evolved over time as a result of successive farm bills that update and replaced by the previous policies. The PLC payment amount for a covered commodity is equal to the payment rate multiplied by the commodity's historical program yield if the PLC is triggered. For conclusion, the benefits that came across some farm programs are subject to strict annual payment caps, which can be obtained by an individual or legal entity. The payment caps were first included in the 1970 Farm Bill, although they have changed significantly since then. So the limit applies to all the total from all the covered commodities except peanuts. So if the producer have a spouse, all the limits may be doubled to adjust the payment caps. So one of the representatives of Food and Farm Act will abolish $125,000 payment caps and separate payment limit for peanuts. Lastly, to qualify the agriculture program benefits, some large farm groups and community associations oppose lowering the AGI limit.
Summary of current issues of pesticides residues can impact on food safety. First of all, Consumer Products Forums Organization compare current food requirements to food safety guidelines, 3 missions and objectives, bring food safety standards closer together, increase cost efficiency in the food supply chain, have a specific international stakeholder forum. Food safety is described as the assurance that food will not harm the consumer when prepared and or consumed, regulated by specific entities capable of maintaining the appropriate quality and level of safety. On the other slides, pesticides are used extensively in agriculture to protect crops and increase productivity. In China, the average incidence of excessive pesticide residues from agriculture is about 5%, mostly in fruits and vegetables. Higher than in other developed countries, pesticide residues at higher levels can be extremely harmful to human health. Gene mutations increase the incidence of deformity and increase the probability and proportion of cancer. The bulk of the pesticides are lost to the ground and the air. Pesticides will last for years in the soil and water. Chlorodiphenyl, dichloroethane DDT, and linden. Let's continue with next slides. Insecticides, for example, are more harmful to humans than herbicides, only cause adverse effects. In different concentrations, acute toxicity or long-term health effects. How the exposure happens can occur when people come into contact with large amounts of pesticide. For these slides, appropriate agronomic practices is the alternative for agronomic practices. In resistant crops, they are very India resistant to pests and diseases. Other than that, preventive pest control system. For biocontrol and natural pesticides, they are pathogens such as bacteria, fungi, and viruses. Insect predators or parasitoids, pheromones, and insect traps. The function is to keep insect pest populations under control, so pest crop losses are kept to a minimum. Let's move on to this slide. Integrated Pest Management stands for IPM, Ecosystem-Based Approach to Pest Management. So in agroecology, we identify, classifies, and studies agricultural systems from an ecological and socio-economic standpoint. The purpose is to improve relationships between pests and natural enemies in order to preserve the ecosystem's natural balance. In organic agriculture, the method of farming that protects the soil, ecosystem, and human health, crop rotation and planting, the use of organic manures, resistant crops, and biocontrol. The function is to avoid major harm from pests, diseases, and weeds. In this slide, we figure out use of less hazardous pesticides. Firstly, paired with safe pesticide management. And secondly, use of protective equipment and the observation of wetting times before harvest. I think that's all from all of us from Group 2. Last but not least, we would like to say special thanks to Dr. Wan Zawiyah Wan Abdullah. Take care and stay safe, Doctor.